Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kai here with another Exos Heroes video, and keeping with the Banga theme, going to be talking about FC Adams. And for me, I think he's one of the coolest looking characters here in the game when it comes to their FC. So before we get into the video, if we can get a like on this video, that'd be awesome. Also subscribe to the channel if you want more Exos Heroes content. So with that out of the way, let's get back to the review of FC Adams. I just think he looks dope. But let's talk about his kit. I think he's a character currently at the moment that doesn't really find a place in many teams, but he is a good character. If a couple things change, I can see him coming back to the meta. But mainly, one of his biggest benefits is his typing. He is a lunar character that, especially in content where you're really forced to use a lunar character, like Sundays for Holy Dragon Grounds, he's one of the few burst characters that is actually lunar typing. That's one of the main reasons why I like him. He's under Janai's nationality, so if you're really invested into that signature force, he's one of the few characters. Him and Diva are really the only two burst high damage characters from that nation. That is a couple of his benefits, is his typing and his nationality. It make him kind of unique. So then now let's actually talk about his kit. So he is a counter character. Like I was saying in the Morris review, counters synergizes very well with the Heartstrike passive, because the Heartstrike passive here, I always like to read this passive out in case, you know, you're new to the game and haven't really dealt with this passive. But Heartstrike is afflicts Heartstrike level 1 to one enemy with the highest current health at the start of battle, increases the level of the mark when a marked target is damaged by an ally with the Heartstrike skill, gains 1 mana per enemy mark level at the start of turn. The mark's effect stacks as the level increases. All effects can't be removed. Afflicts Heartstrike level 1 to one enemy with the highest current health when a marked target dies. So mainly what happens is at the beginning of the battle, a character with the highest health on the enemy team will get afflicted with Heartstrike level 1. And then anytime a character on your team that has Heartstrike, whether it be Adams or if you have multiple, you can have multiple of these characters on the team, whenever they hit that has the highest health, has Heartstrike level 1 buff, it's going to apply Heartstrike level 2, and then you hit him again, it's going to apply Heartstrike level 3. The reason why this has good synergy with, or why counter has good synergy with Heartstrike, is because the counter counts as applying one of these stacks of the debuff. You can essentially apply it almost immediately, like the full Heartstrike level 3 passive, where you hit them, then if they're a first Guardian character, for example, they're going to retaliate with that, then you're going to counter that, and then boom, you just got Heartstrike level 3 on them in one move there. So that's one of the major reasons why counter plus Heartstrike is a really good counter to first Guardian characters, especially if they're the ones that have the Heartstrike debuff on them. But that just applies to anyone that if they hit you, the CPU is not going to make the smartest play, so they could hit you and then you're going to counter and then be able to apply it significantly faster. So really already the best passive to combine with this really good Heartstrike passive. But then on top of that, does 200% extra damage against Monomos. So that's in Shelter of Avarice. If you can't auto Shelter of Avarice, that's actually a really hard content until you get enough combat power to beat it. So this is actually pretty important, especially on Sundays when you're stuck with only light and dark characters. If you don't have good characters that are light and dark for that, it could be pretty tough for you if you're relatively new to the game. So being able to do 200% extra damage to Monomos is a big deal if you want to make sure you're clearing that content. So that is a passive that should not be ignored, but eventually as you get further into the game, it's not going to matter too much. Okay. And who knows, maybe they'll add more content, make it harder, and then that's actually going to matter again. So it's definitely a good passive. After this, he has a very basic kit. He just does damage. He has a 2 mana, deals 375% damage to one enemy, and then he has a 4 mana burst, deal 750% damage to one enemy. So it's actually, he's actually good, even though it looks simple, but the things that make him good are that he just has, everything just works well with what he tries to do. He has good stats because he's a counter character. Counter works well with this passive, and then he has good modifiers on burst moves, and he has good typing. So all things that you're going to want to have. And then when I say good typing, I mean he is rare. It's hard to find a good character that fill the need for someone that if you're trying to beat dark content or lunar content, finding a good character that can burst for lunar is literally just him. Let's just filter it by that typing so you can kind of get an idea of why darkness characters are so hard to come by. Like when we look at this, when it comes to damage like him, like look at these characters, almost none of them are actually going to be useful. All of these guys, the highest modifier that Ramj has is a very popular character, 225% damage. With the FC version, 300% damage. You know, like, and this guy is a pretty popular one because he's an AoE character, but if you're just trying to look for raw damage, he's just not going to cut it because it's, 63% but corrodes and then 375%. Yeah, so that's one of the major benefits of Adams here, is that he's literally the only one. And then the only kind of bummer side is that his typing is with the Republic here. So if we go, so it's Janai's faction. Currently, Janai is really not being used too much, and he doesn't have direct synergy with her. So that's one potential drawback of being under this faction. But if they ever come back into the meta, I can see him being one of the more popular choices to combine with Janai. Damage-wise, he is competing with Diva, and Diva is a really good damage dealer when you look at her. So it's going to be between those two. But I would say he's a solid character, really cool look to him. If you get his exclusive weapon, it looks even more badass. But here, check this out. Like I really like his A2. So I'm just a big fan of this. It just feels like it does 750% damage. Like that right there, and how it pauses right there. I think they did a really good job with this guy. I know he's a pretty basic character and it's pretty clear, but I still want to talk about him. He fits into the Banga theme. If you guys found this helpful, please leave a like on this video. Also subscribe if you want more Exos Heroes content. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.